Well, in the world of rock and roll, where we're losing a lot of our heroes, and it's just going to happen more often, unfortunately, we've got an update on Ritchie Blackmore from his wife Candace and his health problems, which may cause some problems for upcoming dates. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music. Ritchie Blackmore, who easily revolutionized rock guitar, one of the guys who invented really good 70s hard rock, is like really most of us having some health problems. Some of his are serious. During an interview with the UK-based Total Rock radio station, his wife and longtime collaborator, Candace Knights, said her husband, the ex-Deep Purple guitarist, suffered a heart attack in 2023, which is causing problems now. Blackmore just turned 80 in April. She says he has a heart issue. She adds, so we just stay on top of that. He's got gout, so that's difficult. It's affected his feet really badly, and it's starting in his fourth finger. She said, so it's hurting his mobility. Candace says, so he's had an injection for that, and his back has always been an issue. Candace also said that Ritchie's doctor said traveling on a plane would be too much for his heart. So the band has no plans to tour Europe, and even a lengthy road trip might be too much for him. The deal is, according to Candace, that they would do shows where it would be a short ride from where they are. And that's from their home in Long Island, New York. Candace says the deal is he'd rather do shows where he can drive. Actually, she's doing the driving. So it's like a mini road trip. Having turned 65 in February, I'm already starting to feel the stuff that happens when we get old. And you probably do too. In the knees and the feet. In that way, Blackmore is just one of us. He's 80. And it doesn't always happen at that age, but come on, it usually does. Blackmore's been doing his project with his wife, Blackmore's Knights, since around 1997. And it's always cool to get an opportunity to talk about his early days with Deep Purple, how that changed the trajectory of rock. And it started on their fourth album, really the big stuff. Deep Purple and Rock, released in the summer of 1970. It would be the first album with their classic lineup. Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, lead vocalist Ian Gillan, Roger Glover on bass, organist John Lord, and Ian Pace on drums. This was Mark II of Deep Purple. Though the album got a lot of airplay, Speed King and Child in Time were spinning on a lot of radio stations. That same lineup released Fireball in 1971. It featured the song of the same name, and then came one of the greatest rock albums of all time. It was their biggest by a long shot. Machine Head, Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, Space Truckin', Never Before, and Lazy. Released in March of 1972. In the latter part of that year, Made in Japan, a monumental live album. In 73, Deep Purple released Who Do We Think We Are with Woman in Tokyo. Speaking of airplay, that one got a lot. That was the last of the Mark II lineup. Ian Gillan and Roger Glover were both gone after that. 1974 introduced Mark III and their eighth studio album, featuring Glenn Hughes on bass and vocals and David Coverdale on vocals. The record was Burn. By 74, Ritchie Blackmore, the band, released Stormbringer, and that was the last one with him in the lineup till Comebacks later. And after that, Ritchie Blackmore formed Rainbow. They had a string of great albums from 75's Ritchie Blackmore and Rainbow until Bent Out of Shape in 83. They had hits like Russ Ballard's Since You've Been Gone in 79, All Night Long the following year, and then I Surrender in 81. When I left rock and roll for a few years to do the NAC format, the Wave, the Quiet Storm format, the New Age format, I would play Blackmore's Nights because their music really fit in, but I always found it weird that I was playing Ritchie Blackmore on a New Age station, but of course he had that side of him. Plus he wanted to make music with his wife, who I remember at the time thinking she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. We hope he returns and we hope he recovers. It's a lot harder as you get older. You know, you can't just always say, I'm going to get back in shape as you get older and older, but you can try and you got to keep moving, as they say. So Ritchie Blackmore, you've given a lot. We hope you're okay. Share your memories of Ritchie Blackmore in Rainbow or, of course, in Deep Purple. And before we let you go, I asked, and we just put this up the other day, I asked Glenn Hughes to describe his ex-bandmate, Ritchie Blackmore. And of course, they shared a few albums together in Deep Purple. Here's what he said. Ritchie Blackmore to you is?
Great guitar player, a good man, a strange dude, eccentric as all hell, a fascinating fellow. I got along really well with him, but we haven't seen each other for a long time. You can't get him on the phone or you can't see him anymore, so nobody sees Ritchie, so I send him all my love.